Olá, amigos. Hello, friends. Welcome to another edition of Canto Do Cavaco. I'm your host, Francisco. In this video, we'll be covering some of the basics of how to hold the cavaquinho on your lap, and especially how to hold your fretting hand to help you progress your chord and groove studies a little more quickly. So let's get going with your basic lessons on cavaquinho, how to hold the instrument. Here we go, gang. So when holding the cavaquinho, when starting, I recommend it on your lap. So on your dominant side lap, I strum with my right hand. I'm going to keep it on my right leg. Point of contact here. Point of contact here. And then a point of contact right here. My arm kind of anchors on the side. Okay? That's where I recommend. If you have to play standing up, this is what I recommend. You kind of cradle the instrument with this arm. It's a little more awkward when you start, but notice it changes everything as far as my strumming. I'm coming at it from underneath a little. This is what I recommend to start, on your lap, okay? Points of contact again, here, here, and here, okay? Make sure that you don't touch the top of the cavaquinho, especially around this area, because that's the resonant area. If you have something touching this, listen to this. Hear the difference? So just make sure you're not dampening the top when you anchor here. Okay, now let's talk about the left hand, or the fretting hand. Because the cavaquinho is such a small instrument, it behooves you to approach it differently than you would like a guitar or other stringed instruments. What I mean by that is this kind of angular or sideways approach. Let's look at the G chord. Okay, now the way I'm approaching it, look at this part of my hand. Right there on my knuckle. I am in contact with the instrument versus something like this. Look at this, with my thumb on the back, not making contact here, and kind of a more perpendicular approach. The neck's going this way, my hand's going like 90 degrees this way. Cavaquinho, there's some chords that you play like this, but most chords, look at this. Thumb on top, finger anchored here to have this sideways approach. G. The G chord's perfect for that. Let's look at another chord that applies. D, for instance. This sideways approach. And it makes it really easy to move from one chord to the other. Okay, guys, point of order. When you're playing with this sideways approach and with your thumb on top, I want you to be mindful not to mash the palm of your hand up against the neck. You'll see that sometimes. It's okay to have your thumb over, but you'll lose a little bit of speed and dexterity if your hand's mashed up against it. Look at me. Sideways approach, more focusing on anchoring here, okay? Awesome. Not the perpendicular approach, right? Here's a G with the thumb on the back. That's going to get fatiguing. Here's that D with the thumb on the back. I don't play it like this. It's a small instrument, so go from the side whenever possible. The other thing to dial into is when we're changing chords. For example, let's do the G and the D. There's the G and the D. Whenever possible, this is great for cavaquinho especially, but for any stringed instrument, keep an anchor finger down. If you don't have to move it to go to the next chord, don't. For instance, let's look at the G. Ring, middle, index, pinky. All I have to do to make the D is I actually slide these two back and reorganize my index and my middle to go on the second and third fret, respectively. Back to G, look at these guys, they stay, slide them up, and I'm just kind of sliding along here. All right, so remember, anchor fingers, angle it when you're playing most of your chords, and keep this guy 3 points of contact here, and you're good to go. We'll see you next episode. Happy playing.